Ladies and gentlemen, Ronald Greene is a story I did last week for the first time. Now, his death was in 2019, but just like Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, you know, a whole year after this occurred, it's just hitting the media now. Now, one of my subscribers that live in Louisiana told me this was a pretty big story down there locally. Well, it's now gaining traction nationally for the first time. So, Ronald Greene was beaten to death by state troopers. And this state trooper that you see smiling in the picture next to him, he died in a car crash back in September. And it happens to be on the day he was being fired. And a lot of people, and I agree with many of you when you said you believe this is a suicide. Not far fetched. I mean, look, he knew he was going to be in a lot of trouble. And like many of the other cops, just like Breonna Taylor, shit, they didn't even bother filling out the police report. They left it blank. But in the case of Ronald Greene, they falsified the police report. That's what I don't get. If Black people are allegedly so violent and Black people are always committing the crimes, why do y'all have to falsify so many police reports? Wouldn't you be able to tell the truth and the truth would just stand? But I notice in all of these cases, it's a lot of lying going on. When you say we are the most violent, sounds shady to me, then you shouldn't have to lie. But we are just seeing a boatload of lies on all of these police reports, one after the next, one after the next. So, Ronald Greene died at the hands of state troopers. He was beaten to death and he was choked. Now, there's audio that just came out of the trooper bragging about beating Ronald Greene to death. Yes, this dead trooper that you're looking at now in this picture. So this is CNN, October 3rd, 2020. A Louisiana state trooper who died in a car wreck in September was heard on a recent release audio recording obtained by the Associated Press describing beating and choking a Black man who police initially said died from injuries sustained in a car accident after a police chase in 2019. Now, they did an investigation and it was determined that Ronald Greene did not get his injuries from a car crash, but it happened while he was in police custody. Yeah, that's one thing I also noticed. A lot seems to happen to Black men in police custody. We've seen it with George Floyd and other cases where these men would be put in police custody and end up dead. Again, if we're so violent, why are you beating somebody to death in police custody and can then turn around and commit suicide because you don't want this brought up and you possibly going to jail? What he did was a sucker move. Okay, Ronald Greene died after struggling with law enforcement following a pursuit ending in a crash on May 10th, 2019, according to preliminary reports. The Criminal Investigation Division of Louisiana State Patrol. In a 27-second audio clip, a voice identified as Trooper Chris Hollingsworth said Greene suddenly went limp as he was being beaten and choked by troopers. So he's saying this on the audio. Okay, but when he wrote out the police report, he wrote that Ronald Greene's injury came from a car crash. But on the audio, he admits that they beat this man to death and they choked him. Okay, wow. I hate these stories, y'all. Okay. Attorneys for Greene family told CNN that they heard the recording for the first time in the AP report. The news agency reported it confirmed that two law enforcement sources familiar with the case, so they confirmed the authenticity of the tape. It is unknown who Hollingsworth was speaking to or whether the recording was edited. The beating, I beat the ever living F out of him. This is him bragging about it on audio. I beat the ever living F out of him, choked him, and everything else trying to get him under control, Hollingsworth said on a clip. We finally got him in handcuffs when a third man got there, and the son of a bitch was still fighting with handcuffs on. With handcuffs on. Okay. They were still wrestling with him, trying to hold him down. He was spitting blood everywhere. Well, maybe he had some internal injuries. But, just from the way Hollingsworth sound, he wasn't interested in helping him. Then all of a sudden, he just went limp. Hollingsworth died in a single vehicle car accident on September 21st, 2020. And they said just before he crashed, they told him he was being fired because he lied. They realized he lied on the police report about Ronald Greene's injuries. Oh boy, y'all, just brace yourself for this one. Family attorney Lee Merritt. I know we are sick of this, aren't we? They act like there are no more attorneys in the country to hire. Lee Merritt, one of the three attorneys representing Greene's family, told CNN Hollingsworth's fatal crash happened the same day he received a notice of termination. LSP would not confirm if the trooper had been given a notice of termination. The agency has declined any further comment on the case, including Hollingsworth's death, despite several requests from CNN. So they got a wrongful death lawsuit, which the families are entitled to do. Hollingsworth was one of 7 named defendants in a federal wrongful death suit filed by Greene's daughter on May 6, 2020, which alleged Greene was brutalized by Louisiana State Police and Union Parish deputy officers, which caused his death. The lawsuit alleged officers used lethal force against him. The defendants filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. Merritt told CNN that Greene who battled cancer for 2 years and had recently entered remission before his death. Wow. So he had cancer and he went into remission and they beat him up. He was traveling to Florida from Louisiana to reunite with his wife on the night of his death. The lawsuit claims that following the pursuit and crash, Greene was uninjured and able to walk. Attorneys for the Greene family told CNN officials are not releasing the autopsy report. CNN has requested a copy of the report. The initial state police crash report does not mention troopers using force or arresting Greene. Yeah, because they lied on the police report. They lied on the police report. And, just looking at Breonna Taylor's case, you see these police departments, they are always lying on us. They are always lying on us. That's why, see, when they sit in your face trying to tell you that we are the most violent, and then you see these cops turning around lying on police reports, that pretty much nullifies what you're saying about Black people. Because anytime you lie on a police report, then we know where the wrongdoing is. It's on the cops. The initial report from LSP said 2 troopers pursued a vehicle being driven by Greene following an attempt to pull over Greene for an unspecified police violation, and the pursuit ended when Greene crashed his vehicle. Okay, so why is the traffic stop unspecified? Why can't you say why you were pulling him over? Greene was taken into custody after resisting arrest. But, they always slap that on Black people. So to me, that's irrelevant. And a struggle with troopers. They make this claim on Black people all the time. I dismiss it. So a short time later, Greene became unresponsive and was transported to Greenwood Medical Center by Pafford Medical Service. He died on the way to the hospital, the report said. The police told Greene family that he had died in a car accident, with one officer telling Greene's mother that he had been immediately killed after hitting a tree. The lawsuit alleged. Okay, so listen to that. So these officers lied to the family and said he died in a car accident. And then there's audio of this prick saying they beat him to death and choked him. And then he went limp. Blood came from his mouth and he went limp. Boy, you cannot believe a U.S. cop to save your mama's life. You can't believe these cops. They live through their entire careers lying. So now you put that police report together saying that he had a car crash and that's what killed him. But now there's audio of this man, Hollingsworth, saying, he's boasting about how they beat him to death. The lawsuit said that an initial report from Greenwood Medical Center listed the principal cause of Greene's death as cardiac arrest. He was also diagnosed with an unspecified injury to the head, according to the lawsuit. In the lawsuit, an emergency room physician at Greenwood Medical Center said the explanation of Greene's injury was given by law enforcement and didn't add up. So even the people at the hospital noticed, what the cops were saying didn't make any sense when they were looking at Greene. Black people are the most violent. Black people are the most violent. No, cops are the biggest liars. Cops are the biggest liars. That's what you really need to be saying. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish the Greene family the best. Them getting justice in this whole thing is very bleak in a rigged up system in America because, they make sure they go above and beyond to make sure there's no justice for the family. Now, they don't mind giving you those few little $1 million, but they don't want to do anything beyond that. If they can figure out a way that no cops are punished for beating this man to death, then that's what they're going to pursue. Now, one thing that I do notice in this whole story, there don't seem to be any police record on Greene. So once again, we got a person with no police record, and he's dead at the hands of police while in custody. Well, I guess there is light at the end of the tunnel. Hollingsworth here is dead. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.